I meant what I said about being grateful to be here and for this opportunity and this group of people. But I also have to say, if we hadn't done this show, if you guys hadn't done this show, let's face it, there would have been riots. You didn't have a whole lot of choice. I mean, if you've seen this movie Godzilla, it would have been like that, only without the monster, just rage at the TV. There would have been revolutions in the Ukraine. I mean, it's amazing, right? It's an amazing vibe here and an amazing group. So glad to be here and ready to have a good time. All right.
And we don't have our whole cast here just because of dates and bookings and logistical issues.
We see who cares.
Okay. So yes, they do. They are very important. So we have a real team effort here with our writers and some of our other collaborators reading roles. Bob is going to do Gene, Saul, Jimmy. Jonathan Banks is going to do Mike. Peter Gould is going to be Chuck. Patrick Fabian is going to be Howard Hamlin. Ray Seahorn, Kim. Jen Carroll is going to read Abuelita. Jenny Hutchison, Brenda. Daniel Levine, Cal. Stephen Levine, Lars. Sharon Bialy, our fantastic casting director, chief clerk, and Mrs. Nguyen. Our hacksaw boy, defendant one, is of course Tom Schnauz, obviously. Our second defendant, Bradley Paul. Our Bessie Kettleman, Heather Marion, Craig Kettleman, Gordon Smith, and screen direction, Brett Dos Santos.
Okay, guys, here we go. Better Call Saul. Episode 101 teaser. Scene 1, macro close on a spiral, which fills the frame, lazily spinning like a hypnodisc. We realize it's a Cinnabon, and as we pull away from it, it gets coated with icing. And now we see there's a whole tray of them waiting to be slathered with creamy white goodness, for indeed we are inside a Cinnabon store. As a female employee puts the finishing touches on these pastries, another young employee slides a tray into the oven. We see macro close-ups, coffee dripping, cold heating elements, etc. And all of this, every image in the entire teaser is shown in glorious black and white. The place is fairly busy with customers. There's also a middle-aged manager. Close on his name tag says Gene. Gene's got unhip glasses, a walrus mustache, and dark, thinning hair. He goes about his work briskly and efficiently, exuding neither personality nor attitude. Honestly, we wouldn't give this man a second glance, except that we used to know him as Saul Goodman. We are looking at a fugitive from justice. Exactly as predicted at the end of Breaking Bad, Saul now manages a Cinnabon in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, this is cut and dried stuff we're watching. It's a day in the life of a restaurant. Nothing more. We hear only snippets of conversation. No emotions on display, neither happy nor sad. It's simply work. Helping out an employee, Gene expertly packages an order to go. Handing it off, he double takes, noticing something. There's a customer sitting at a two-top way in the back of the store, and he's hard to tell through those glasses he's wearing, but he seems to be staring at Gene intently. Whatever Gene's doing, it ceases. He blinks and stares back. Sunglasses rises to his feet, starts walking towards us. We creep in on Gene, who exhibits the first hint of emotion we've witnessed, fear. And though he tries to hide it, it's growing. Clearly, the fugitive Saul Goodman has just been recognized. His time on the run has reached an end. Except, Sunglasses now walks right past Gene. Gene's head swivels with this guy who pads out the door and waves to a friend outside. We suddenly realize the guy's stare only seemed to be directed at Gene. It never actually was. Gene gives a secret sigh of relief and willies his heartbeat back to 140. Again, he's on autopilot, back to the grind. Scene 2, we cut exterior of a townhouse complex at night. Cookie cutter townhouses, depressing. This is where Larry from Three's Company went to die. Inside the apartment, downstairs at night, ice cubes clunk into a highball glass. Drambuie and some sort of off-brand scotch gets poured, making a rusty nail. Instead of a twist of lemon, there's an unceremonious squirt from one of those little lemon-shaped juice bottles. Gene slurps the excess off his drink, walks into the living room. This place has zero personality, Oakwood vibe. Gene plops down on the sectional, fires up his flat screen. He channel surfs, finding something he can tolerate, sipping his rusty nail and staring straight through the TV. A thought eventually strikes him. He sets down his drink, rises, heads for the stairs. But before he goes, he pauses to check the window blinds. They're closed tight, complete privacy. Black frame, door opens and light floods in. We realize we're in a closet. Gene kneels to pull a couple of familiar suitcases out of the way. We'll recall he had these when he took his leave in episode 515 of Breaking Bad. With the suitcases removed, a hatch is revealed, cut into the drywall at the back of the closet. Now Gene removes from it a dented old shoebox. Still kneeling, Gene opens the box, and we get a glimpse inside as he sifts through its contents. There are papers, some old photos, a fat stack of Mexican pesos. There's an old tin Band-Aid box that rattles like a half full of pebbles. And lastly, there's an unmarked VHS tape. This is what Gene came for. He cradles it in his hands. Back downstairs at night, the tape gets pressed into a VCR. Gene backs into frame, settling into the sofa, never taking his eyes off the TV. He feels around in front of it for his rusty nail. We never once see what's on the TV screen, but over a bouncy musical jingle whose refrain is Better Call Saul, we hear.
Hey, you. Did you know you have rights? My name's Saul Goodman, attorney at law, and I'm itching for a fight with prosecutors, judges, the police, anyone who's out to ruin your day. So if you're in trouble, better call Saul.
This is the first in a series of 15-second commercials. A second one plays, and another, and another. The whole time we stay on Gene, who stares at them intently. But Gene shows no emotion, no nostalgia, no regret, not pride. His expression is unreadable as he watches. Yet there's one subtle detail we may note, which is that gradually a bit of color suffuses into this black and white image. It's the light from the unseen TV. It flickers across Gene's face in blue, yellow, and red. Off these colors, growing brighter, more vibrant, as dead-eyed Gene sips his drink and stares. Act 1, interior courthouse courtroom. Albuquerque City seal in the frame. We're back in color. Tilt down to reveal a long-faced judge sitting at his bench, peering up at the ceiling, staring at nothing in particular. He slowly rotates in his chair left to right, right to left. We hear the squeak of the chair. That squeak is the loudest thing we hear, even though the courtroom is packed. Jurors, the alternates, in the jury box, one of them coughs, another shifts in her seat, another idly scratches his ear. Someone in the crowded visitor section checks his watch. Somebody else's stomach rumbles. The court reporter examines a fingernail, then reaches for her big gulp, takes a sip. The lead prosecutor removes his readers, picks out a piece of sleep from his eyes, frowns at it on the tip of his pinky. And beside him, we see a second chair seeming to be taking notes. However, a closer look reveals this young woman is actually drawing a barbarian riding a unicorn. Over at the defense table sit 3 defendants. They're clean-cut white guys. They look innocent. They also look nervous, as currently they don't have a defense attorney. The defendants glance sidelong to one another, wondering where he is. We hear a creak. The judge rotates towards the bailiff, gives him a shrug. The bailiff nods, rises to his feet, and exits. We cut to a men's room. Hands are splayed apart, pressed against a white tile wall. A man is alone in here, standing as if he's assuming the position in order to be frisked. Actually, he's at a urinal, relieving himself. We don't get a good look at him at first. We're mostly on his back. He seems to be murmuring something under his breath. Whatever he's saying, we can barely hear it.
Remember 19. Oh, to be... Let me tell you. To be 19 again. Yeah, because...
Meet Jimmy McGill. He's getting ready, psyching himself up. Who is Jimmy McGill, you ask? Well, you already know him as Saul Goodman, but at this particular moment, we're in 2002, Saul is a ways off in the future, and Jimmy is still going by the name he was born with. The door opens behind him, and the bailiff sticks his head into the men's room. He gives a little whistle, says, "You're on." Jimmy glances over his shoulder and nods. Zip goes the fly, flush goes the urinal, turns to the mirror, shoots his cuffs, and Dangerfield his tie. It's showtime. Is he nervous? Fuck no. He owns this fucking place. Back to the courtroom, black frame. Then we reveal in the courtroom Jimmy walking through, like Elvis, taking the stage at the International Hotel. All eyes are on him.
Oh, to be 19 again. You with me, ladies and gentlemen? You remember 19? Because let me tell you, the juices are flowing. Those red corpuscles are corpuscling. The grass is green and soft, and summer's gonna last forever. Remember? Yeah, you do. But if you're being honest, really honest, you'll also recall you had an underdeveloped 19-year-old brain. I mean, that thing was the size of a circus peanut. Me personally, I was, well, let's just say if I was held accountable for every stupid decision I made when I was 19, oh boy. And I bet if I were in church right now, I'd get a big amen. Which brings us to these 3. Now, these 3 knuckleheads, and I'm sorry, boys, but that's what you are. They did a dumb thing. We're not denying that. However, I would like to point out 2 salient facts. Now, fact 1, nobody got hurt, not a soul. Very important to keep that in mind. Fact 2, Though the prosecution keeps bandying the term criminal trespass, Mr. Spinazzo, the property owner, admitted to us that he keeps most portions of his business open to the public day and night. So, trespassing. I mean, Dave, that's kind of a reach, isn't it? Huh? Here's what I know. These three young men, near honors students all, were feeling their oats one Saturday night, and they, well, I don't know. Look, call me crazy, but I don't think they deserve to have their bright futures ruined for what amounts to a minute, momentary, never-to-be-repeated lapse of judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're bigger than that.
Jesus, Jimmy is good. He's confident, folksy, and genuine. He's passionate and convincing. His three clients smile hopefully. Things are looking up. Except, why is the jury so very deadpan? Same goes for the judge. Didn't any of that land on these people? The prosecutor rises to his feet, makes his rebuttal. He crosses to an AV cart tucked in the corner.